Funny how people unsubscribe from your life without notice. One day they swear forever, the next they're gone. But hey, if you're here, hit subscribe. It's free, unlike loyalty. Christmas dinner was supposed to be a time of warmth and joy, but for me, it was just another reminder that I would never truly belong. The moment I stepped into my parents' grand Victorian house, I already knew how the night would go. It was the same every year. My older siblings, Chris and Amy, would arrive with their perfect families, their children running around like they owned the place. My parents would be running the show, barking orders, making sure everything looked perfect for them. And me? Maya, the youngest, the baby of the family at 28 years old, would be treated like an afterthought. I had braced myself for the usual condescension, but nothing could have prepared me for what they did this time. "Maya, sweetie," my mother cooed, her voice thick with artificial warmth. "We've set up a special seat for you over there." I turned to look, and that's when I saw it. The kids' table. A collection of wobbly chairs, cheap paper plates, and juice boxes. A place meant for toddlers with sticky hands and mashed potatoes smeared across their faces. I stood frozen as I scanned the adult table, elegantly set with fine china, flickering candlelight, and crystal wine glasses. My father sat at the head, looking smug as always, my siblings and their spouses filling the seats beside him. There was no place for me. I swallowed the lump rising in my throat. I wanted to believe it was an accident, some oversight in the chaos of the night. But no, the way my mother smiled at me, sweet, expectant, like she had done me a favor, told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't a mistake. It was a message. I was 28 years old, and in their eyes, I was still the kid who wasn't good enough. Not married, no children, no seat at the table. I forced a smile. "Okay, Mom. Thank you." My voice was steady, but inside, something cracked. I walked over to the kids' table and sat down in a tiny plastic chair, my knees nearly hitting the table. The children barely noticed me, too busy flinging bits of food onto the floor. A baby shrieked in the background. My plate was already messy, as if someone had just dumped whatever was left onto it without care. I picked up my fork, but my hands were shaking too much to use it. This wasn't about seating arrangements. This was about the way they saw me. The way they had always seen me. The youngest. The least important. Something inside me snapped. I stood up, calmly brushing my napkin off my lap. The room buzzed with laughter and conversation, oblivious to the storm raging inside me. Without a word, I grabbed my coat, threw it over my shoulder, and walked straight to the door. I didn't care anymore. "Where are you going, Maya?" My mother's voice rang out, confused and annoyed. I didn't turn around. "I'm leaving," I said, my voice like ice. "Enjoy your dinner." I walked out, slamming the door behind me. The cold winter air bit at my skin, but I welcomed it. It felt real. Unlike the illusion I had just left behind. I climbed into my car and drove. I didn't know where I was going, I just needed to be anywhere but there. I drove for hours before finding a small diner, warm and quiet, a place where no one expected me to be anything other than myself. I sat in a booth, hands still trembling, and ordered a coffee. The first sip burned, but it grounded me. Then my phone started buzzing. I ignored the first few calls. Then the texts started flooding in. "Chris, Maya, this isn't funny. Where are you? Amy, Mom is freaking out. We just want you to come back. Dad, stop acting like a child. Get back here." A bitter laugh slipped from my lips. Child. That's all I would ever be to them. Then my mother's message appeared. "Mom, Maya, I don't understand why you're doing this. Your siblings are worried. You're ruining Christmas. Stop making this about you. You're being selfish. Selfish." The word sent a fresh wave of anger through me. They had humiliated me, dismissed me, treated me like I didn't belong. But now, because I dared to stand up for myself, I was the selfish one? I exhaled slowly. I could feel the weight of my entire life pressing down on me. Every dismissal, every condescending remark, every moment they had treated me like I was less than them. And for the first time, I realized something. I didn't need their approval. I unblocked the family group chat and saw the messages piling up. "Chris, this is ridiculous. She's acting like a child. Amy, what's the big deal? We didn't mean it like that. Dad, I think she's just overreacting." Overreacting. I let out a slow breath. No, not this time. I started typing. "You guys don't get it, do you? This isn't just about a seat at the table. It's about how you've treated me my entire life, like I'm not good enough. Like I don't exist unless you need something from me. I'm the only one who doesn't get celebrated because I didn't follow your perfect little script. But I've built my own life and I'm doing just fine. Maybe it's time you start respecting that." I hovered over the send button for just a moment, then pressed it. Silence. For the first time in my life, I wasn't begging for their acceptance. I wasn't waiting for their validation. I wasn't sitting quietly at the kids' table, hoping they would one day see me as an equal. This time they were the ones waiting for me. And I had no intention of answering. The phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Each message was more frantic than the last. Dad, this is crazy, Maya. You're being dramatic. Get over yourself. Amy, you can't just leave like that without making everyone sad. What did you think would happen? Chris, we did nothing wrong, Maya. You need to calm down and come back before you ruin everything with your tantrum. Each text hit me like a slap. They still didn't get it. They still thought this was about me overreacting instead of them treating me like I was invisible. I didn't respond. Instead, I did something I'd been considering for a long time. I opened my phone's gallery and scrolled through old photos. Then I found it. A Christmas photo from years ago. Everyone smiling, looking happy and picture perfect. Everyone but me. I remembered how I felt that day, sidelined, overlooked, treated like a prop. Nothing had changed. Without hesitation, I posted the picture in the family group chat with a caption. Here's to the perfect family, always making sure the youngest one knows their place. Then I turned off my phone. Let them sit with it. Let them stew in it. I wasn't going to dance for them anymore. For hours, I enjoyed the rare silence, free from their endless judgment. The weight that had been pressing on my chest for years felt lighter. I wasn't running away, I was finally standing my ground. When I eventually turned my phone back on, the messages poured in. Some were angry. Some were apologetic. But every single one of them reeked of frustration. Mom, I don't know what's gotten into you, Maya. You're acting like this is about us, but it's really about you. You can't just run away from your family like this. You're tearing us apart. Please come back. Christmas is ruined without you. This isn't who you are. The guilt trip. Classic. Then my father. Dad, this is childish. We need to talk about this when you calm down. And of course, Chris. Chris, if you thought walking out of dinner was going to make a statement, you're wrong. You're just making it worse. You owe us an apology. An apology? For what? For demanding basic respect? For refusing to play the role they'd assigned to me? Not chance. Then came Amy's message. It was different. Amy, Maya, I know you're upset and I understand why. But this isn't the way to fix things. You're my sister and I love you, but you're pushing everyone away. Please just come home. We can talk about this. It's Christmas, for God's sake. I hesitated. Amy had always been the only one who defended me growing up. But now she had let it happen. Now she was just another part of the system that kept me small. I typed back, I'll think about it. That was all I was willing to give. The next morning, the messages kept coming. Family friends were reaching out now, clearly having been dragged into the drama. My mother was calling nonstop. But then, another message from Amy. Amy, Maya, I've been talking to Chris and Mom. They're really upset and honestly so am I. We're a family and you can't just cut us off. If you don't come back soon, things will get worse. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. There it was. The veiled threat. The pressure. The manipulation disguised as concern. They weren't listening. They never had. And then, the final message from my father. Dad, Maya, we need to talk. You can't keep running away. You're going to regret this. A chill ran down my spine. Not because I was afraid, but because I recognized it. The same condescending, dismissive attitude they had used my entire life. The same tactic they had always used to shut me down. But not this time. I stared at the screen, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Should I respond? Should I make them understand? No. Not until they truly saw me for who I was. Not until they realized they weren't just losing the baby of the family. They were losing me. The notifications kept piling up. Missed calls. Unread messages. Their desperate attempts to pull me back into their orbit. But I held firm. I had made my choice. I wasn't going to let them guilt me into submission, not this time. As evening fell, I found myself sitting alone, staring at the empty chair across from me. If I had gone back, I would have been sitting in this chair, right where they expected me to be, silent, smiling, making things nice for their sake. A part of me, an old part, whispered that I should just surrender. It was Christmas after all. A time for family. A time for unity. But another part, the stronger part, reminded me that returning now would send a message, that I wasn't worth fighting for. That years of being overlooked were fine. That I had been wrong to stand up for myself. I thought about the photo I had posted in the group chat, the forced smile, the way I had been pushed to the side, an afterthought in my own family. That wasn't just about tonight. That was every Christmas, every birthday, Every family gathering where I was expected to take the back seat. Not this time. The phone rang again. I glanced at the screen. Mom. For a moment, I hesitated. My finger hovered over the decline button. But then something made me pause. Maybe curiosity. Maybe a quiet need to hear just how far they'd go to make me feel guilty. I took a deep breath and answered. Maya. Her voice came through the line, exhausted and frustrated. We need to talk. This has gone on long enough. I stayed silent. Let her fill the empty space. She sighed. Look, we're family. You're making this more complicated than it needs to be. I don't know what's gotten into you, but you're driving everyone away. Your father is upset. Chris is upset. Amy, she hesitated. I'm upset, Maya. I almost laughed. They were upset? After years of treating me like I didn't matter, they had the nerve to act like I was the one causing problems? Anger flared in my chest, but I forced myself to stay calm. I wasn't going to let her pull me into the same tired argument. I'm not pushing anyone away, Mom, I said, my voice firm. I just stopped playing your game. I'm not going to sit at the kids' table, be treated like I'm invisible, and pretend everything is fine. Silence. I could feel her trying to craft a response, to twist my words into another guilt trip. You can't just leave us waiting like this, she finally said. Your father is trying to make Christmas special. The whole family is here. It's not just about you, Maya. There it is. I let out a slow breath, shaking my head. I've spent my whole life trying to make things work, trying to fit into the role you all assigned to me. But none of you ever saw me, did you? I paused, then added, you didn't want me to grow up. You wanted me to be the little kid who never challenged anything. But that's not who I am. More silence. For the first time, I thought maybe, just maybe, she was actually listening. I'm sorry, Maya, she said, her voice quiet. I didn't know you felt that way. I closed my eyes. It had taken me years to understand it myself. It took me a long time to realize it too, I admitted. My voice softened, but I didn't back down. But I'm done pretending. The weight of those words settled between us. The tension was thick, stretching through the phone line. Finally, she sighed. I understand. I really do. But I'm still your mother, and all I want is for us to be a family again. For a long moment, I didn't say anything. There was a time I would have jumped at the chance to fix things, to rush back and smooth over the cracks, no matter how deep they ran. But I wasn't that person anymore. I had learned the hard way that they wouldn't change unless I forced them to see me. Unless I made them understand that I wasn't going to accept anything less than respect. So I gave her the only answer I was willing to give. I'll think about it. My previous response echoed in my mind. I'll think about it. But this time it wasn't a surrender. It wasn't me giving in just to make things easier. This was about me taking my time. Me deciding what was right for myself. Me finally making them recognize that I wasn't just an afterthought, that I wouldn't be pulled back into their toxic cycle unless they were truly willing to change. All right, my mother murmured, her voice softer now, almost hesitant. I hope you return soon. I just want you to be happy. I didn't respond. Instead, I let out a slow breath, steadying myself before finally ending the call. For the first time in my life, I felt in control. The situation wasn't magically fixed. There was no neat and tidy resolution. But that was okay. Because for once, I wasn't bending over backward just to keep the peace. I wasn't going to let them walk all over me anymore. And maybe, just maybe, they would finally start to see me for who I truly was. I set my phone down and turned to look out the window. Snowflakes drifted gently through the night, covering the world in a soft, quiet stillness. I didn't know what the future held. But I did know one thing. Christmas wasn't ruined. For the first time, I was giving myself the gift I had needed all along, freedom. The rest could wait. As I watched the snowfall, a thought crept in. Had I done the right thing? Or had I just walked away from something that could have been fixed? Maybe that's a question we all ask ourselves when we finally choose to stand up for ourselves. Now, I want to hear from you. Did this story resonate with you? Have you ever been in a situation where you had to set boundaries with your family or friends? Let me know in the comments below, and tell me where you're watching from. Here's the lesson to take away. Sometimes standing up for yourself means walking away. And that's okay. You don't owe anyone your silence. You deserve to be heard, to be respected, and to be seen for who you truly are. If this story spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear it too. Thank you for being here. You matter.